guys, welcome to Kids Continued. I'm glad you are here this week, and I just want to check if you guys made your trust and testimony, whether it was a box or a poster or whatever it was. So mine is a book. So then in the beginning or the front of the book, I will write down my prayers and things I need to trust God with, and then at the back of the book, I will write down the testimony. So when God has answered prayers and things He's done in my life, I will write that at the back so that I can look back and see that God is really working in my life. Now, we are jumping back into the story or the lessons we were doing about Abraham and his family, so his son Isaac and Isaac's family, Jacob. We touched on that just before Easter. Do you remember that? So this week we are looking at Isaac's family. Now if you remember, I spoke a little bit about it, but Isaac, when he grew up or got older, he married someone named Rebecca, and they were also looking forward to, but took a while before they had children. So when Isaac prayed, God blessed them and he had children, and he actually had twins. Do you remember this? Do you remember their names? Now these brothers were quite different. Esau, who was the oldest, so born first out of the twins, okay, he had a red complexion and was also quite hairy. So he had hairy arms and like probably super hair, like super hairy head, okay. And Jacob he wasn't as hairy as his brother. But also, these boys grew up to like different things and were good at different things. So Esau grew up and he was very good at hunting and spending time outdoors and in the wild, whereas Jacob liked to stay closer to home and he was really good at cooking. So again, God promised Isaac the same promise that he made to Abraham, that he would inherit land, that his descendants would be numerous, and they would be covered in blessings. So they will be looked after with God. They will have a covenant with God, so a promise, okay? But they would also follow God. They would listen to him and follow his laws and his commandments. Now, many years later, so Jacob and Esau were now grown up and older, things didn't go quite well. So these guys didn't always get on. I'm pretty sure you can understand that if you have a brother or a sister, you don't always get on. But in this case, okay, Jacob was not a good brother. He was quite deceptive. Do you know what that means? If you want to deceive someone, okay, and he deceived his father, okay? He pretended to be his brother in order to get something. Now Esau, as the oldest, would get a special blessing and a special inheritance as being the oldest son. So in the family he would maybe get lots of flocks or things like that. He'd get some land, but also a special blessing from his father. Now when Isaac was older, he couldn't see really well, and he knew that it was probably going to be sometime soon that he was going to die. So he wanted to share this blessing with his son, with his oldest son Esau. And what also happened is that Isaac had told Esau to go out and hunt some game and make him some nice food like a stew or something, and then bring the food to him and he would give him the blessing. But Rebecca overheard this, and she wanted Jacob to get this blessing. So she told her son Jacob to go and get goat's fur, like goat's hide, and to put it on his arms and even put some on his neck so that he could appear to be quite hairy. Rebecca said, I'm going to make Isaac's favorite meal while you go and get all the fur to cover your arms and like your neck and legs and things like that, so that you're quite hairy. She was going to make a delicious meal for him, and they were going to trick Isaac to thinking that Jacob was actually Esau. Now this is not great, guys. This is not the way we go about and do things and get things that we want, okay? But they did that. So Jacob pretended to be Esau, and Isaac thought he was. For a little bit he was confused because the voice sounded different, but then he felt his arm and felt his neck, and he thought, okay, he's quite furry. This must be Esau. He maybe just sounds a little strange. So he gave his blessing to Jacob. So this blessing included land and riches and some power. Okay, so gave him some authority over things. So the blessing that was intended for the oldest son, so Esau, actually went to Jacob. Now, when Esau then came back and he had been out all day or for a really long time looking for this meal to make for his father so he could get this blessing. And he came to his father and he said, here I am. And now there must have been a lot of confusion because Isaac thought that Esau was already here, but Esau was actually out and he came back, but his father couldn't give him the blessing. And he was quite angry about that because his father had blessed Jacob instead of him. Okay, I would have been super angry at my siblings if that had happened. So Esau was furious. He was so angry with his brother, so angry in fact that he had planned to kill him. He was that mad. Now, I haven't quite been that mad yet, but can you guys think of a time where something has happened with your siblings or you've had an argument and you've been so angry with them? Maybe you wanted to shout at them or throw things at them, okay? Esau was furious with his brother. So Rebekah told Jacob to leave and to run away, okay, to protect him. And he would go stay with his uncle Laban. Okay, and he stayed there for many years. But he actually ran away because he was so scared of what his brother was going to do. Now, this is not exactly the way the plan was supposed to go. Like I said, the oldest brother is supposed to get the blessing. He's the one that's supposed to get an inheritance and land, but it went to Jacob. Okay, and just when we think that, oh my gosh, what is going to happen because this is not the plan that was supposed to happen, and now how's it going to work? Nothing can ever stop God's plan. Even when we think, oh my gosh, this has turned into a big mess, I don't know what we're supposed to learn from this, I don't know how this is going to happen because something so horrible has happened. Maybe there are people that have died or plans have changed and nothing is going the way it's supposed to go. Okay, nothing can stop God's plan because he has the best plan in mind for us. So maybe we don't quite know what's supposed to be going on, but God knows exactly what is happening and nothing can stop his plan. And we can believe that for our own lives, that he has a perfect plan for us. Okay, even when we have no idea what's going on, when we don't know which way's up or which way's down, or if we're supposed to go left or right, or what exactly this year holds for us. Because I'm pretty sure none of us really expected last year to turn out like it did. Even though we are uncertain of what's going on, God has a plan, and we can trust in him and must trust in him. So have a look and see what things maybe didn't go as planned when you thought about it, but afterwards you saw how God had maybe brought something else in that worked even better. Or maybe a door closed and you didn't have the opportunity to do something that you wanted, but what God brought next was actually even better. Have a look and see how that has worked out in your life.